this is a great example of how you should constantly learn, right? Because I, being Gen X, consummate despiser of the Paul brothers, right? I mean, I've been in existence since I was an adult when the Paul brothers came around on YouTube.
Yeah.
Started doing all their stupid stuff that they've done or whatever. I am on record on this podcast and several others, radio shows, talking about how I don't think Logan Paul or any of the Paul brothers are actual boxers. This kind of stuff. Now, but here's the deal. Hold on. Let me get there. Hold on. What you're never too old to learn, right? And this is what I started out with the Paul brothers. I was actually watching the review of his latest fight with
championship UFC fight.
Yeah, and I was watching this last fight, and I was just I was watching with some friends and stuff, and I had my normal I despise Logan Paul. He's not a boxer's face on.
Silva.
Yes, Silva. So, yeah, and I had my normal face on.
Jake. It was Jake. It wasn't.
It was one of the Paul brothers. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. He knocked him on his behind.
Here's my point. My point is I'm sitting here and I'm watching. I finally took off my personal Gen Xer glasses. Yeah. And I put on again, like I said earlier, my business glasses. And I was just looking at the spectacle of what all of this stuff was. There is not a boxer on the planet that will watch any of these matches and go, oh, that's a boxer. However, does it matter? He is getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars in pay-per-view ticket sales, throwing crazy events that these people are showing up for and filling out for. Does it, by definition, he's paid to be a boxer, so he is a pro boxer. Yeah, does it matter that the guy can't throw a punch properly? Does it matter that he's not a quote-unquote pro boxer? I don't think it does anymore. From a business standpoint, it definitely does.
Yeah. So I'm just going to disagree with the big man. We all know that I love him, and we disagree sometimes.
Yes.
And I'm going to agree with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan says, listen, he has some technical skills that I trust Joe Rogan's opinion on a lot of things.
Of course.
Particularly combat sports. He's been doing it since he was a teenager. He's 50-something years old. He understands it better than a lot of other people.
100%.
And someone was arguing with him or saying to him that this kid kind of sucks. And he's like, I don't know boxing that well, so I asked somebody else. And so basically, people who understand the subject go, listen, he's only had a couple of fights. He's not great, but there's some instincts there when he's fighting, when he's boxing, that you go, those are a boxer's instincts. So you can't. So, and I'm just saying, fine, we don't have to love it, but what I'm saying is, a lot of these MMA guys who retire out of the MMA, I think Anderson Silva's getting close to 50. Here's the interesting part: these guys never got these multi-million-dollar paydays, but they're fighters. At the end of the day, they're fighters.
Absolutely.
And so, if you just look at it from the standpoint of Jake Paul is enough of a spectacle that he's getting these guys who sacrifice their bodies for the sake of our entertainment, he's figured out how to give them a paycheck in a way that's not just handing them money. They can earn a massive. Silva walked away with an 8-figure payday. His other opponents, 8-figure payday. But to what you're saying, there isn't a boxer alive that looks at him and says he's a boxer. This year, he's tried to fight 2 ranked boxers and couldn't get a deal close to box them, which tells me one thing. If you're a boxer and you're trying to elevate your status as a boxer, any industry, you go, if I can ride somebody's coattails. This whole podcast is me riding the big man's real estate coattails. The whole reason it exists, right?
I wouldn't say that, but I understand where you're getting at.
But I'm just saying, so if you're a boxer, you go, dude, if I'm the guy who knocks out Jake Paul,
but nobody of any notoriety in boxing is going to take that match because they don't want to be associated with it. And then anybody Jake Paul or Logan Paul would want to fight or that's willing to fight them is not a big enough name for them to put in the ring. So I think
Logan Paul tried to fight Andrew Tate, who I think we have to start calling Ahmed Tate because he converted. But and he, like, I have the video where he's like, dude, no, like, he turned down the first fight, so they might do an MMA bout, which we're now going down an even further rabbit hole, which is the point of the show now.